Hey there, in this week's video I'm going to do some footpath analysis using the new Stryd Duo. Last week I did an overview of the Stryd Duo. I put a link to that video at the end, and in this particular video I'm looking at doing some more detailed testing. I'm making this video because I recently bought the Stryd Duo. I wanted to use it to test different shoes, get different sets of data and see what I could find out about the shoes by using the Stryd Duo. And that's what I'm doing in this particular video, and this is the first time I've done it. So I think the conclusions are correct. I might be incorrect, and happy to hear what you have to say in the comments. This video might be long, and as always there are chapter markers down below, so you can skip on through to the bits you might be interested in. Let's get going. In this test, which is really just seeing how to test, make a test between different shoes, I'm picking two shoes that are sort of extremes. One is my heaviest shoe, the Nike Infinity Run 4 GTX or Gore-Tex. It's 481 grams, 16.97 ounces in this size, which is a UK 12, US men's 13, EU 47.5. And you'll see the Stryd Footpod down at the forefoot. Then I compared that with a much lighter shoe, the Vaporfly 3, also by Nike, 242 grams, 8.54 ounces in exactly the same size. It's important it's the same size and that the footpod is in pretty much the same location so I can get consistency in the testing. To do the test, I ran on the treadmill. I used a treadmill for several different reasons. I'm coming back from injury, and running on the treadmill is my first guide back when I've got a back injury I'm recovering from. That's the first thing. The next thing was I wanted to have the camera static, so I wanted to be able to see my gait cycle on film and compare that to what I see in the Stryd Footpath analysis. So I wanted to see those two. The other thing was I could control the conditions. So in comparing the two shoes, on the treadmill I can control the speed and the temperature is the same and there's no wind, it's indoors. So for all of those reasons, the treadmill in this particular test was one I wanted to do. In more of the testing, when I'm actually really am trying to find out between different shoes. I can pretty much know these shoes because I know them so well. But in future I do want to, I'll probably do testing outside, but I just wanted to see inside what I could find out first. I decided to test at 3 different speeds. When you go faster, the footpath changes significantly. I ran for 2 minutes at 6 kilometers an hour or 3.73 miles per hour, pretty much as slow as just when you start running. And then 2 minutes at 10 kilometers per hour, 6.21 miles per hour. And then 2 minutes at 14 kilometers per hour, 8.7 miles per hour. When I'm doing testing outside, I will actually run at faster paces. But for the moment, this was enough just to see what I could find out in this particular test. So what can we tell by the Stryd analysis? Well, the first thing is this is a very limited data set. There's only one lab rat and he's old and coming back from injury. So it's a very small data set, so you don't want to draw too many conclusions. There's not a lot of distance and there's not a lot of speed in any of these. And obviously on a treadmill, sometimes it can be inconsistent. But effectively 2 minutes, 2 minutes, 2 minutes at same speeds in identical shoes. And I already know these two shoes are extremes. One is twice as heavy as the other. So I know that it'll be much more nuanced in, let's say, comparing an Alphafly 3 to a Vaporfly 3, which I fully intend to do. And for those, I'll do longer runs and faster runs outside to sort of increase the data set. And I'm thinking that in there, the differences will be very nuanced and I may be able to pick up different things in the footpath analysis. One thing that is most noticeable between two shoes is the difference in the power. So in the Infinity Run 4 Gore-Tex, it's 241 watts overall in the actual running period. I cut off the ramp up and the ramp down at the end. And in the Vaporfly 3, it's 228 watts. So effectively, I'm using less power to get the same result, which is exactly what I would expect in a lightweight carbon shoe compared to a heavy shoe I like, but it's a heavy shoe, twice the weight of the Vaporfly 3. So the Vaporfly 3, less power to get the same results. Then there is the ground contact time and the cadence. And both of these, I'm taking the sections where I'm running at 14 kilometers an hour. And in the Infinity, my ground contact time is 371 milliseconds and the Vaporfly 3, it's 290 milliseconds. So significantly shorter in the Vaporfly 3, and the cadence in the Vaporfly 3 is much higher, 168 steps per minute versus 157 in the Infinity. And again, a lighter shoe, higher cadence. Let's have a look at the data from the Stryd Footpath on the Stryd Duo, and the data visualization that Stryd do on the web is in my view excellent. It's very easy to see. Now in this particular instance, what I did was I filmed on a GoPro. I did want to bring that's my Canon R5, and the footage would be much better, but there's loads of limitations of I used the gym at work, and setting up a Canon R5 is going to be really tricky in the gym and involve disruption for everybody. It's really quick to pop up a GoPro Hero 12, stick it at 240 frames per second and at 2.7K. And so what you'll see is some blurring in the images when I go slowly through it, but it's plenty to see how the footpath works. And also I've pushed the contrast and the exposure to try, and it's difficult to actually film it, but the more I can push the contrast, which is where white shoes really help on a black surface. So yeah, that's kind of how I did the filming to try, and I'll jump into the app here and we'll have a look on the web and see a slow down going through and comparing the actual footage to the footpath that you see on the Stryd data. This is the Stryd Power Center, my Stryd Power Center, and if I click now on the button for the calendar, you can see various different events, but typically here's my treadmill on the Vaporfly 3. And so the map zooms in and the GPS is out because I'm running indoors on a treadmill. But you can see the 3 steps where I'm running at 6K, then 10K, and then I'm running at 14K with a ramp up at the start and a cool down at the end. So all the data is in here. This is the regular Stryd, not the Duo, but it will show my left and right foot because I did wear the 2 Footpods, and it'll give the overall power, ground contact time. If I look at the footpath visualization, so I click on the 2 little feet on the left, then I'm going to turn on the reference image, which is a side image of the woman running down below on the lower right hand side. What I'm doing here is I'm not going to show, you can see, this is the side view, there is also a back view and there's a top view, but I'm not going to look at the back and top view, this particular thing. I'm just looking at the side view. So I've got the side view, and that's the reference image is on, and then I'll add my run. So I'll add in my treadmill infinity run first, and you can see 2 different colors for the different feet, the sort of left foot and right foot. I'm particularly going to be looking at the right foot in this because on the filming you'll see the right foot is closer to you, so it's easier to look at. And then I add the next run, which is the Vaporfly. Add that, and so then I'm going to pick a section, a faster section in both. So along here where I'm running at 14 kilometers, and I try to run steady for 2 minutes. I mean, you're waving a little bit here on the treadmill, but we'll pick a piece in one and then we'll pick the same piece in the other, sort of thing, and you can compare the 2. So what you notice is the arc at the back, and then you've got this pointy bit at the front, as I call it. And I was trying to figure out originally what that is, and that's where, as your foot is coming down to land, the angle goes up as a sort of a break. So that is typically, we'll see it more closely in the data visualization. So this is tracking the actual foot pod as it moves, and you can see various things in here. So you can see different ground contact time and all those kinds of things. But if I compare this to a little movie, which I'll do, of the Stryd Footpath. So what I'm now going to do is I'm going to play a section of the image and go over what that looks like in real time. So this is the footpath, as I'm just screen recording. But what you've got is I've now hit the ground, so you can see the compression in the back of the Vaporfly, and then I run along, and it runs along. I've turned the sound off, but it runs steadily along, horizontally along the treadmill, going towards the rear, and then it rises up. As the left foot begins to prepare to land, the right foot is about to leave the treadmill, and so it's off the treadmill now, and then it's going to arc up. Now if the speed was higher, it would arc up higher and higher and higher, but it arcs up and then it begins to move forward and down. And that's what you see in the Stryd footpath visualization. It starts to move down, and then you get this pronounced uptick. So as I go into land, my foot, because I'm not a forefoot striker, I'm tilting up, and yeah, just before the shoe makes contact again with the treadmill, it goes up. So this, I did that so I could film and see if the footpath analysis in the Stryd Footpod matched what actually my feet are doing, and no great surprise to me, it does. I bought the Stryd Duo not knowing what I would do with it. I knew I'd get extra data. Whether it was worth that, I really didn't know. I've really enjoyed doing this particular test because I've really discovered lots of things about how the footpath on the Stryd Duo works and what data I can get out of it and how useful that can be to me. Now, it could be that you have loads of ideas that you want testing, and if so, suggest away. But yeah, I'm really looking forward to delving deep into what I can find out, comparing certainly the Alphafly 3 and the Vaporfly 3 and various other shoes in the new year. I hope you enjoyed the video and found it useful. If you did, it would be great if you'd hit the like button. As always, there'll be lots of stuff in the description below, and I'll happily answer any questions you put into the comments. There'll be a big blue subscribe button popping up there, and some other videos there. Thanks for watching. Until the next video, just keep running along.